This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Welcome into the news at 5. It has been a muggy and gray day across central Indiana, and Kevin Gregory is here with us.
That's right, looking at what's in store for your evening and whether we're going to see any more rain.
Well, the good news is we got an overall big picture pattern change. In other words, temperatures will come up, rain chances will go down. It's no ordinary Monday, that's what I'm saying. Let's talk about the showers and isolated thunderstorms that we have. Before we can get to this change, we've got a few more isolated downpours this evening. Let's head out into Montgomery County. This is cutting through Linden, just south of Crawfordsville along 231, north of Bainbridge. As it moves to the east, heads up from Lebanon down to around Danville. Other hit and miss showers or downpours south then of Terre Haute, right near Brazil in Clay County, and that will go toward Greencastle and Cloverdale. Temperatures, they've recovered from our morning rain. We're in the 70s now, 77 in Indy, 78 in Terre Haute. Temperatures tonight will be slow to change. The scattered thunderstorms are most likely until about an hour or two after sunset, which will be 9:17. So we'll have some showers and thunderstorms around. The severe threat is low. 7 o'clock tonight, there are your isolated thunderstorms shifting through central Indiana at 9, off to the east at 11. We'll talk more about our lower rain chances for the rest of the week coming up.
Kevin, we'll see you soon. Thank you. Hundreds of families have sought refuge here in the Circle City, fleeing war and genocide in their home countries. And once they arrive, there are a host of new challenges, troubles with language barriers and navigating a new culture. Tonight, RTV6's Stephanie Wade introduces you to one group making a difference to help those families who may be outside of their comfort zone.
Escaping genocide and leaving everything behind. This group has helped more than 1,000 refugees over the years, coming to Indianapolis from various countries throughout Africa. Helping victims of genocide and murder grapple with the aftermath is the mission of Peace Center for Forgiveness and Reconciliation. The founder, Kizito Kalima, is a genocide survivor himself. He escaped Rwanda when he was 14 years old after his parents and other family members were murdered there. Now he's dedicated his life to helping refugees as they come in from places like Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, and Ethiopia. Find a home right here in Indianapolis.
I forgave those who killed my parents, those who almost killed who chopped my hair off, those who abused my sisters, my cousins, and it gave me a chance to move on.
He says on top of psychological, mental health issues, and of course culture shock, moving to a new country, there's a language barrier. He often checks up on new arrivals as they settle into Indianapolis, connects them with jobs, housing, and navigate the American system. Coming up at 6, hear more from these families who could be your neighbors. Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thank you, Stephanie. And a developing story, Cathedral High School fires a teacher for being in a same-sex marriage. Now, this is the third Indianapolis Catholic school that's dealt with this situation, and all three have approached it in different ways. Working for you, RTV6's Cameron Riddle looks into why Cathedral and Brebeuf have handled this situation so differently.
It's the tale of two schools, Brebeuf and Cathedral, dealing with very similar situations but making extremely different decisions. The question left on the minds of many is why those decisions are polar opposites. Last week, Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory School lost its official status as a Catholic school after refusing the demands of the Indianapolis Archbishop to fire a teacher in a same-sex marriage. Across town, Cathedral High School decided to separate from a teacher in a same-sex marriage, bowing to the pressure from the same Catholic leader. Students who would normally be proud to show their fighting Irish pride say the latest headline surrounding Cathedral shows the Catholic school is not practicing what it preaches.
At Cathedral, I was told and taught to have the competency to see and the courage to act in situations where there's a lot of things involved, and I would have taken it in a different direction.
Coming up at 6, we'll explain why these two schools are making these decisions and why that choice differs depending on the school. In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Thanks, Cameron. We'll see you at 6. A similar situation at Roncalli last year. Roncalli suspended counselor Shelley Fitzgerald indefinitely for her same-sex marriage. Fitzgerald has filed complaints with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. A second counselor at Roncalli High School, Lynn Starkey, said in March of this year that she was losing her job because of her same-sex marriage.
New developments tonight. The United States Supreme Court turns down an appeal from an Indiana death row inmate upholding his death sentence. Today, the Supreme Court announced it would not hear the case of Jeffrey Weisheit. Weisheit is on death row for the murders of his girlfriend's 2 children in Evansville. In 2010, Weisheit bound and gagged 5-year-old Caleb Lynch and 8-year-old Alyssa Lynch inside his home and then set the house on fire. He was convicted and sent to death row in 2013, and that is where he will remain after the failed appeal. If Weisheit is executed, he would be the first Indiana inmate put to death since 2009. Tonight, state police are looking for a hit-and-run driver who killed a man on a highway ramp near I-465 and Harding Street. And now state police are identifying that victim as 21-year-old Jaciel Kiala of Indianapolis. ISP says the vehicle is similar to this one that you see there. A Kia Soul with heavy front-end damage hit Kiala, who was walking across the exit ramp early Sunday morning. Anyone with information about the vehicle or about the driver who left the scene should call state police.
We are less than 3 months from the end of construction on Indigo's Red Line, but this week there will be areas where you can expect delays or where you might want to avoid entirely. Indigo says pavement resurfacing continues on College Avenue. Work will continue south of Broad Ripple Avenue to 38th Street and will take about 4 weeks to complete there. Indigo crews are installing pavement markings on the Washington Street bus lane. On Virginia Avenue, traffic signal work is taking place, and beginning on Wednesday, pavement markings will be put in place on Delaware Street, Maryland Street, and 18th Street. Foster parents wanted. The child abuse neglect rate in Indiana has nearly doubled in the past 10 years, and Hoosier kids are in an urgent need to be placed into loving homes. According to the Indiana Youth Institute's State of the Child report, Hoosier children are being removed from their homes because of drug or alcohol abuse more than ever before. Indiana is now ranked 47th in the country for kids being placed into foster care, and 1 in 8 children in the state system has been waiting at least 4 years or more to be adopted. In an effort to help this dire situation, Managed Health Services and the Villages have partnered to host an info session for families interested in fostering. The info session starts at 6 o'clock tonight at the Villages Indianapolis office. That's at 3833 North Meridian Street. We linked all of this information on our website at theindychannel.com for you to register and attend tonight's event. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, communities across the country, especially here in Indiana, are trying to solve the opioid crisis. The Bull's new program that's looking to cut down on opioid prescriptions.
But first, here at 5, Apple is phasing out iTunes, leaving some people confused. How scammers are starting to take advantage of the situation and what you can do to protect yourself.
And the heaviest downpour right now sits west of Indianapolis between Crawfordsville and Bainbridge. It'll cut east across Hendricks County and southern Boone. I'm anxious to show you when it won't be raining in my 7-day forecast.
Tune up for only $89. On time.
Welcome back to the news at 5 on RTV6. We are learning more about a tornado that ripped through a portion of South Bend, causing a lot of damage there tonight. The National Weather Service says they rated that tornado an EF2, and forecasters believe it had max winds of between 115 and 125 miles an hour. The St. Joseph County Emergency Management Agency is still trying to determine the extent of the damage, but we do know the tornado hit a daycare center hard. Luckily, no one was hurt here. And for the first time in days, Brown County State Park is open, but only for activities like sightseeing and fishing. The campgrounds, cabins, and Abe Martin Lodge will still be closed at least through Wednesday because the water is still unusable due to last week's flooding. All pools, restrooms, and drinking fountains are closed as well. The Department of Natural Resources says the amount of sediment in Lake Ogle, the park's water supply, is still too high to allow production of water that can be used by the public.
Today, the United States is meeting behind closed doors with a UN Security Council about the developing situation with Iran. President Trump even signing an executive order imposing new sanctions against Iran's regime. ABC's Elizabeth Herr runs down the new information coming in at this hour.
President Trump announcing additional sanctions on Iran, calling the new measures hard-hitting.
We cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We don't want money going out to sponsor terror.
The president explaining the move is in response to Iran shooting down an American surveillance drone last week and other provocative actions. The U.S. is also accusing Iran of increased attacks in the Mideast region. The regime has also threatened to ramp up its nuclear production.
We have sanctions against bad behavior, and there's no question that locking this money up worked last time, and there's no question locking the money up works now.
President Trump maintaining his goal is bringing Iran back to the negotiating table, saying he called off a retaliatory military strike last week.
I think a lot of restraint has been shown by us, a lot of restraint. And that doesn't mean we're going to show it in the future.
On top of new sanctions, ABC News now learning the U.S. also carried out a cyber attack. A source briefed on the details, confirming the attack targeted computer systems that control Iranian missile launches, along with Iran's power grid, maritime communications, and petroleum locations. Iranian officials calling that, quote, a big mistake, saying it is contrary to international law. The regime now making new threats to shoot down American drones. Tensions have been rising since the U.S. pulled out of the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran last year. Today, the president called that deal a disaster, and so far, Iran has rejected Trump's offers to talk. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Well, Apple plans to phase out iTunes after nearly 20 years, and a lot of people with music libraries are confused and worried. Working for you, John Mattery shows us how scammers are now jumping on that confusion to swindle you out of money and what you can do to protect yourself.
Apple has just announced it'll be phasing out iTunes. That's causing a lot of confusion among people with iTunes accounts. And wouldn't you know it, scammers are already taking advantage of that uncertainty. Like a lot of iTunes users, Jenna Webster is confused about the upcoming phase out of iTunes that Apple just announced. So when she got a notice from Apple the other day,
I received an email that said it was from customer Apple.
She opened it and got bad news.
As of right now, your account has been locked.
Alarmed, she clicked through. So did it look like it was from Apple?
I clicked the link, and it took me to a page that looked just like my iTunes main page for Apple.
The page asked her to re-enter her information to restore her account, but first she clicked a couple of links.
All of the links on that page were not working. The only thing it wanted you to do was just put in your password, and we can help you out.
That's when she realized it was a fake site.
They would have been able to steal all of my information. I have my credit card linked to my Apple ID.
It used to be that scammers only targeted Windows users, and if you used Apple or iTunes, you were pretty much immune. But lately, that's changed. Now, as Apple converts iTunes to Apple Music and Apple Movies, longtime users are ripe targets for ripoff.
And you get emails that look so legit all the time from scammers that are just trying to get your information.
Remember, Apple will never ask for your password, and it says you will not lose your purchased iTunes songs when it eventually shuts down. So don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery for RTV6.
When it comes to losing weight, you generally think about exercising and eating healthier foods, but new research suggests you may also want to grab an extra cup of coffee. Researchers at the University of Nottingham say coffee helps stimulate brown fat reserves, which play a role in how quickly you burn calories. Coffee apparently helps boost their fat-burning power. Scientists say they still need to do more research to figure out exactly what is in coffee that helps speed up weight loss. There will be no more drama in Indianapolis on September 9. Mary J. Blige and Nas will perform at Bankers Live Fieldhouse on Thursday, September 12th. Blige known for her hit song, No More Drama, and Nas for his album, Illmatic. Tickets will go on sale beginning Friday, June 28th at livenation.com.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Well, that's their most famous song, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Country music act Big and Rich will headline the Made in America 2019 trade show in Indianapolis this fall. Big and Rich will join Ted Nugent and Cowboy Troy for the Made in America kickoff party on Thursday, October 3rd at the Indiana Convention Center. The actual Made in America trade show is October 3rd through 6th, also at the Convention Center. We have a link to more info on how you can see this show. It's up right now in this story on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com.
It is a nightmare situation for the Indiana Fever. After losing a close game on the road to the Seattle Storm last night, the team still hasn't made it back to Indianapolis, all thanks to travel insanity.
Okay, so try to keep up with this. The Fever's flight from Seattle to Atlanta was delayed last night, so the team did not make it to Atlanta until around 8 this morning. This forced them to miss their connecting flight to Indianapolis. And all of the flights from Atlanta to Indy were full, so the Fever got a bus.
Well, that bus had to stop to switch drivers. Then it had mechanical issues later on the road. Around 3 p.m., the team was just getting to Nashville.
The team says they won't get back to Indy until 8 p.m., so somewhere between 12 to 14 hours late. And on top of it all, the Fever have to play Minnesota at 7 tomorrow night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, so there is not a lot of time for rest.
I'm sure that is a very tense vehicle right now.
You want me to make a prediction? Fever win by 10.
Oh, okay.
You know, out of adversity comes great things.
You're right.
And I'm not going to, you think the weather had anything to do with anything?
Maybe just a little bit.
This is trying to be a little positive influence over here.
Keep it quiet. All right, let me just show you how weather won't delay a lot of things here as we get our pattern change. That's the good news. I think you'll find this interesting. 2012, it's when we had 9 days of 100 degrees or more. We couldn't get it to rain. In June, we had 0.09 of an inch of rain. That was it. This month, you're saying, when is it going to stop? We've had almost 7.5 inches in Indianapolis. The pattern will change, though. We can't eliminate any chance for rain, but notice how much lower it is. Next best chance after this evening would be Wednesday, some scattered thunderstorms. And then odds are we'll stay dry the rest of the week as the temperature comes up close to 90. We haven't been there yet in 2019. The rain chances will go down as the heat comes up. As you look at the radar, nothing happening in the east and really along the state line with Illinois, nothing. In between, we've sandwiched in some downpours cutting through areas of northern Putnam County, southeast end of Crawfordsville. This will move toward Liston, Pittsboro, may catch Brownsburg as it cuts through the northern half of Hendricks County. Another spotty shower right over Greencastle. Cloverdale, you got some showers nearby, and then in southern Clay County, that area of rain will move toward Spencer. Through the evening hours, any threat for severe weather is low. It's not non-existent. Wind and hail from any stronger storms, where the sun has taken longer to come out. It's 66 in Richmond, while it's 78 in Terre Haute. We finally broke into that sunshine in the afternoon, and we've seen the redevelopment of some thunderstorms. Say hello to Lakin. I love this. He is relaxed, but you just say the word walk, and he'll hop off that bed and go walking. Chance for a thunderstorm this evening, really between now and 9, 10 o'clock. You may dodge a couple of thunderstorms thanks to Missy for sending in that picture. 7 o'clock, isolated thunderstorms, 9 right through the heart of central Indiana and then off to the east, and we should be done with those overnight. Temperatures tomorrow, lower 80s. We're just getting our base temperature from which we'll warm up the rest of the week. 84 in Bedford and Seymour. A nice breeze west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures progressively warmer for the rest of the week. Wednesday, that chance of thunderstorms 85, and then consistently upper 80s Thursday through Sunday. The chance for rain just 20% as we go into the weekend. Even overnight lows are coming up around 70 degrees. We have not hit 90 yet. I don't know if that means you'll be rooting for the event to take place, but
it's going to be muggy.
We've got a chance.
Give and take, I guess.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for that. Hey, only on RTV6, love is in the air, but so is the drama.
So expect more fireworks tonight on The Bachelorette. The L word is getting thrown around, you know, love. But it's a nude bungee jump. Yeah, that's Luke off.
Oh, man.
Think about this one. She's mine. Bare skin, being topless, just slap in my face.
You don't own me. You're not my husband.
You are the woman that I will end up marrying.
Oh, all right. The Bachelorette begins at 8 p.m. only on RTV6. Really? Naked bungee jumping? That's a thing?
We'll see it tonight.
Moving on. What do you do when a mountain lion and a pair of coyotes are in a standoff in your own backyard? One woman's dramatic video and how she kept herself safe. Next.
Keller and Keller.
You're watching the news at 5 on RTV6. New developments tonight in a high-profile capital murder case. A man accused of murdering a nanny.
And he could face the death penalty. We needed to get to our Scripps team at Court TV. Julie Grant, she shows us what is happening now.
A very good day to you. I'm Julie Grant here at Court TV, and we are covering a capital murder case out of Orlando, Florida. Scott Edward Nelson is accused of first-degree murder for allegedly kidnapping and killing a beloved nanny in a Florida neighborhood. Jennifer Lynn Fulford was found brutally killed. Her body was abandoned in the woods. Investigators say she died of both stab wounds and asphyxia. Blood, as well as other evidence with both the defendant and the victim's DNA, were found in Fulford's abandoned car. Now, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. A jury comprised of 8 women and 4 men was seated on Friday. Today, they heard opening statements, and the prosecution also called some witnesses, including Fulford's husband and her employer. Scott Nelson's life is hanging in the balance, and we will bring you gavel-to-gavel coverage of this trial right here on Court TV. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. Stream Court TV anywhere, anytime at courttv.com.
Now you got to look at this. The homeowner captures incredible video of an unbelievable standoff.
It was all between 2 coyotes and a mountain lion in Northern California. Watch.
This took place in Monica Hilbert's backyard Friday morning. The coyotes appeared to work together to corral the big cat and stop it from moving forward. This dramatic scene lasted about a minute. Hilbert stopped recording just as the mountain lion was about to pounce.
As soon as it started to pounce, that's when I panicked and shut the door and ended up shaking it for about 5-10 minutes.
Don't blame her. The mountain lion and coyotes retreated into open space. The next morning, the Hilbert's security camera captured an image of possibly the same mountain lion returning.
Now, Hilbert doubts she'll ever capture an encounter like this again, but she'll be ready just in case.
Oh, the wonders of nature out there, right?
Yeah.
All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6. Finding the parents of bullies. Call 6 Investigates finds out why one group says this Indiana law needs to get some serious with the punishment.
But first on the Now, Indy, summertime means fun for many kids, but for some it means they don't know where their next meal is. Coming from, now we'll show you the group trying to change that and how you can help too. You're watching RTV6 News.